Hi and welcome to bexbugoutsurvivor. Brand new series, kit under 20 quid for your camping. Obviously some of the kit you can use for your survival. I tried doing this with a tenner, kit under a tenner. To be quite honest, there was some good kit. There's a lot of junk as well. So we're going to set ourselves a target of just 20 quid a month, 20 UK pounds. And out of that, by the end of the year, we should have 12 items of really good kit. So I've got to be really selective over choosing just 12 items over 1 year. The first item we're going to have a look at is called COMMS cord. Get a lot of it for your money. Now, if you have bank line or parachute cord and you want to stick with that, that's just fine. What I'm using mine for is for tarping. A lot lighter, a lot thinner, and yet very strong. And you can see with traditional cord it is a lot thinner, so you can get more done with it. Enough to do all your lashings with for your tarping and things like that, and your bushcraft. I'm using mine for tarping, so the first thing I'm going to do is build myself some jungle knots, and that's what I've been doing, is making jungle knots. And if you don't know how to do a jungle knot, there is a full video on it. I'll put the link in the description. And we did that with paracord. So I have made a huge length and I will fit it to the top before the end of the video. This will need cutting down to size. I got 4 hanks of this all together. One I've made jungle knots with. Some I'm going to make the lashings for different parts of the setup, and I'll have these left over. I'll put some in my survival pack, some in my camping pack. For the little money I paid for these hanks of cord, I think it's a real bargain, because you just get so much of it. Polypropylene, so it is not a nylon, it is exceedingly strong. Now, parachute cord has a break-in strain of 550 pounds, which is why it's called 550 cord. This has a break strain of 50, so it is not really going to be something you're going to rely on a lot to put your body weight on or make hammock suspension with or anything like that. You're going to be looking at tarping, lashings, especially good in the water because it is made of polypropylene, and I've used polypropylene line a lot. So it should do pretty well when it's wet, which means hopefully even a bit of fishing with it. Now, I actually do like to have a separate fishing kit, but this is just for those emergencies, and I will be cutting some of this off and putting it into my survival tin. Now, the premise of the idea is very good, provided you're not going to rely on it for your body weight or anything like that. Like I said, it is going to be a substitute or alternative to either paracord or bank line. Paracord and bank line videos on YouTube have been done to death, and I'm not going to follow suit in the same vein by showing you something you already know about. The friend who put me onto this was former SF in 22, and he swore by this, and all he said is, I use it in the garden. So it was out all winter in the cold and the wet, and he just snipped it all back up and made smaller hanks for the next year. So it is water resistant, weather resistant. It won't fluctuate in temperatures of freezing. It will have, being a polypropylene, you don't want to get it too close to a lot of heat. I managed to get 4 hanks for under £20. Some people might like to use a mono line with a tarp, just one line that goes from one end of the tree to the other with prusik knots, tried and tested bushcraft method. but I do like using jungle knots, and that is what I'll be putting on my top. I seem to have plenty of cord left over. I'll probably put jungle knots on the perimeter as well. Each of the perimeter and the head and foot are going to get the same kind of lashings. Here, my lashings are the jungle knots made out of COMMS cord. Just different sections of loops. Pop that behind the perimeter in this case. Open up one of the loops, feed it through. It's a lark's head hitch. That's on. That is as quick and as simple as that needs to be. And when it comes to pegging out, I can choose any one of these loops. So each one of these hanks here I got off eBay. It's called COMMS cord. Cost with postage $14.85. Each hank is 30 meters of polypropylene. It's 1.5 mil. So in total here I have 120 meters. Weather resistant polypropylene, light and compact at just 1.5 mil, and plenty left over for other little projects. So you can choose how much you want or how little you need. So this feature of £20-ish or less will feature the last Friday of every month. So there'll be 12 great pieces of kit by the end of the year. This is just one of them. And until next time, take care of yourself and I'll see you out there. Happy trails.